I have worked for Dr. Fife for the last 4 years. Here are a few things that I know about Dr. Fife. He treats every one of his patients with equal concern and compassion. He takes his patients' health concerns to heart and will go to great lengths to help them figure out what the cause of their suffering is to help them heal. Dr. Fife has a gift of helping people with many things, but is especially gifted and compassionate when it comes to mental health and chronic pain, and so much more. Even though Dr. Fife's practice is basically a closed practice, we often get phone calls from people who are not his patient but want to become a new patient of Dr. Fife, because his reputation is such that people refer to him as someone who can diagnose difficult problems, as they have heard of his compassion and intelligence and are in need of someone who will spend the time with them so that they feel heard and cared for. Dr. Fife is very down to earth, sincere, a friend and to everyone, and funny. We joke in our office that many of the phone messages people leave say, "This is so-and-so. I'm one of Dr. Fife's best friends. When you tell him to call me, will you tell him to call me right away?" He makes people feel important and heard, and I think he really is the best friend to all of his patients. He loves them all. Dr. Fife will call patients personally to make sure they are okay or to deliver test results. I am grateful to work for Dr. Fife. I have learned much more than doctor stuff from him. I have learned by example of great empathy for people. Dr. Fife truly does love all of his patients and is literally a friend to all of them. He will come out of the exam room after meeting a new patient and they've already set up a lunch date and a golf trip. He treats his patients as equals and is very real with them. And I think that is why we often hear from patients, "I just love Dr. Fife," or "Dr. Fife is my very good friend," or "Dr. Fife saved my life." There have been times in my personal life that I have struggled, and it has been a struggle to be at work. Dr. Fife isn't above becoming the medical assistant for the day. He isn't above going to get his patients from the waiting room so that I can take a minute to catch my breath and put myself back together when needed. I am so grateful for that. I believe his kindness and compassion comes from an understanding that we all struggle sometimes. Thank you for hiring me, Dr. Fife. It is a pleasure to work with you. Thank you for your great example of how to treat people, your example of compassion with no judgment of anyone ever, and thank you for being my friend too. Sincerely, Deanne. I'm grateful to have Deanne too, and Heidi.
You want to respond to that?
It's kind of humbling, but we have fun. I'll just leave it. I enjoy my job.